For the longest time, I never really understood the appeal of visual novels. Instead of having a portrait of a character that cycles between three different poses while reading a wall of text, you could just read a book. Okay, yeah, no, never mind. Who reads books nowadays? I also got really into anime a while back. I didn't really want it to get into those big, long running franchises, besides JoJo's, not because they were generally popular, but they just looked like they took too long to go through. So, while scrolling through Hulu, which surprisingly had a lot of anime, I found this one that looked kind of interesting. It was called Fate Zero, and I absolutely loved it. And I'll probably cover it at some point. At some point. After finishing Zero, I found that it had a sequel series, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. After binging UBW and finishing the movie trilogy, Heaven's Feel, I went back to watch the 2006 anime, and then I went diving into the hell that is this series. But finally, after I finally finished all of that, I finally decided to read the original visual novel that started it all. Fate Stay Night, a visual novel released in Japan on January 30th, 2004 for the PC. This was the second visual novel to be created by Kanoku Natsu, with the first one, Tsukihime, releasing 4 years prior. There are some of you that might be wondering, how do you even read Fate Stay Night? Well, you see, all you have to do is go to YouTube, go to the search bar, type Fate Stay Night full playthrough, and done. But seriously, by the time I'm writing this portion of the script, January 12th, 2024, there's no official way to read Fate Stay Night legally in the US. But the game itself has been re-released quite a few times though. The original PC version came out in 2004, and it's what you would call an eroge, something that focuses on more sexual content, and that's all I'll say for now. Then, in 2007, a new version called Fate Stay Night Rialto Nua was released for the PS2 in Japan. This version provided voice acting, removal of certain sexual scenes, and a few other extras. This version was later re-released on the PS Vita in 2012, which added the option to change the aspect ratio of the game. I remind you, still only in Japan. When I started working on this video, writing the script and getting the footage and things, Fate Stay Night was never released in the West. But then, just as I started writing the introduction to this script, this was announced. So, yep. The version I'm using for this video is called Fate Stay Night Rialto Nua Ultimate Edition, a fan translation by Mirror Moon, a translation team that also worked on translating the original Tsukihime as well. So, before the announcement, there was a small section of the video where I was going to show you where to find and install the Ultimate Edition. But since the official version has been announced, and released depending on when I get this video done, I decided to remove that section. I mean, it's pretty easy to find online, but hey, it's cool that Fate Stay Night is now easily available. And one more thing, I am using a fan translation, so just take everything in this video with just a grain of salt, especially with the official translation coming out, or being out, depending on when I get this video done. Small note, this specific part of the script that I'm recording, the official version is coming out in like 2 days, I think, like 1 to 2 days. It's like August 5th. So yeah, it's really I'm never gonna get this fucking video done. Just for this video, I decided to just buy Rialto Nua for the PS2, just for this video. It's really cool. It's cool. Huh. Oh, would you look at that? I seem to have misplaced the disc. Foreshadowing. Foreshadowing. This is foreshadowing. When I came to, I was in a burning field. I guess there was a big fire. The familiar town had burned to ashes, and it looked like the remains of a battlefield from a movie. But that didn't last long either. fire died down by the time the sun rose. The tall wall of the flame had shortened, and most of the buildings had fallen. It felt strange, being the only thing in that place that still had its original form. I was the only one still alive around here. I must have been very lucky, or my house was built in a very lucky spot. I don't know which it was, but the point is, I was the only one left alive. I felt that since I survived, I should live on. I started walking aimlessly because I thought it'd be dangerous just to stay there. I wasn't really concerned about being burned up like the people around me. Probably because, over and above not wanting to be like them, I had a stronger feeling in my mind. But still, I had no hope. It was already a wonder I was alive, so I couldn't expect to be saved. I won't survive. Whatever happens, I won't be able to escape from this red world. It was such an absolute hell that even a child could understand it. And I collapsed. Was it because there was no air? Was it because there was no function left in my body? Anyway, I collapsed and stared up at the cloudy sky. Everything around me was burned up, and I could see so many shriveled people. Dark clouds loomed overhead, telling me it would rain soon. That's good. The fire will be put out once it rains. In the end, I sighed deeply and looked up at the sky. I say to myself that it hurts. I say so on behalf of the people who couldn't even say so. That was 10 years ago. After that, I was miraculously saved. My body survived. But I think all the other things about me burned up and were reduced to ashes. If you take away a child's parents, home, and all such things, there's nothing left for him. That's why there was only my body. I think it's a simple story. In other words, in order to let my body live, my heart died. Waking up in a dark shed, we're greeted by a purple-haired girl. Shiro Emiya is woken up by a girl named Sakura Mato. After she wakes him up, they leave the shed. Well, before that, we get many detailed descriptions on some of the items in the shed, as well as a strange-looking altar on the floor. After leaving the shed, we're greeted with one of the first of many decisions in the game. Throughout the game, we'll get decisions that will lead Shiro through many different situations, with some of them not being very important, or some that could majorly affect the story. Either way, you should probably save whenever these come up, because you could probably go back to choose another option and watch how differently the situation turns out, and for other reasons that we'll get to later on. Anyways, the first decision is to help Sakura make breakfast, or finish Shiro's routine. I decided to do the latter, because it's not your fucking route yet, wait your goddamn turn. This leads us to the dojo, where Shiro trains. After he finishes, we head inside where we see Sakura cooking. We also learn here that Sakura has regularly been coming to Shiro's home in the morning for about a year and a half. During breakfast, we meet a new character named Taiga Fujimura, a teacher at Shiro's school and sort of his caretaker since his father died 5 years ago. His father, Kiritsugu Emiya, adopted Shiro about 10 years ago when he lost his birth parents during a certain incident. We learn that Fujimura had been an acquaintance of Kiritsugu, which is why her and Shiro sort of have a sibling relationship throughout the game. Taiga finishes eating and then leaves, with Shiro and Sakura cleaning up and leaving as well. The two then start to walk to school, with Shiro heading to the student council room once they make it. This is where we meet a new character here, Issei, another friend of Shiro's. He's usually very calm and stoic, and I like him too. The game does a really good job of fleshing out the status quo of Shiro so far, especially when it comes to the era he lives in and the people he's close to. When Shiro enters the room, he asks Issei if there's any work he needs to do around the school, with Issei needing him to fix a heater.